down here. Yeah.
It's made like a little.
What do you mean? Oh, because it's a little bit.
I don't know. I feel like it made a noise. I heard like a.
Well, we're not recording. Well, now we're recording.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yes, we
All
are.
right. And now we're live.
Now we're live.
Cool.
Round 2.
Perfect.
Take
okay.
2.
Anyway, you asked me. This is the first time we've ever recorded, but you asked me
Yeah,
something.
yeah. What did Johnny tell you my name was?
He told me that you had a long, strange name or something,
Yeah, I
but that
do.
he calls you Sam.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think he ever actually told me what your real name is.
My name is Matthewson. It was like a familial dispute between my parents. My dad's name was Matthewson, and it's an inherited name that he calls his firstborn son. It's like a family thing.
Uh-huh.
So he was dead set on calling me Matthewson, and my mom was not having that. So my legal name is Matthewson, but she grew up calling me Sam.
Okay.
So I didn't begin to question it really until like my final year of college, where I was like, why did I do that?
Right.
Is Matthewson passed down like generation to generation to generation sort of a thing?
But I don't know how far back we can trace it, but I know for like a minimum it's like 3 generations.
Wow.
Is it like a heritage thing?
You know, I couldn't tell you. I'm not really. I'm totally this side of the family.
So then, do you want to introduce yourself for the name that you want people to know, or?
It's harder. It's okay. I'll just do Matthewson.
Yeah.
My friends like back home that I knew when I was younger know me as Sam, but everyone here knows me as Matthewson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. So, Matthewson,
Welcome.
are we? Should we refer to you as Sam or Matthewson? Well, maybe we'll just switch. I don't
We'll
know.
go back and forth.
Yeah.
Keep me on my toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give a
Invent new
little.
name.
What are you up to? Because I wanna dig into what you're doing for at least a little bit.
Okay. Let's where are we starting with that?
Well, when you came in, you were telling me about this new thing, like the Vogue Paris that you just. Am I not supposed to say that?
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
but-
Okay. I can
Actually-
bleep anything
Yeah,
out.
I
So.
actually can't say anything about that.
Oh,
It's
you can't say
part
anything
of
about
getting,
it.
So I booked a new job through a styling assistant
Okay.
for a shoot that I can say is for Vogue Paris,
Yeah.
but I can't talk about anything
Okay,
attached
so
to it because there's liability.
Instead of that, let's talk
idea.
about Savannah into New York and what you've been up to since you got to New York.
Great, cool. So I went to the Savannah College of Art and Design. I got my BFA in fashion design. It's a 4-year degree that accumulates or culminates, whatever, into a collection thesis where you do 6 looks, you present it, and then that's what you do. You spend the whole final year doing that.
Yeah. What was your thesis?
It's called Kathy. One of my like character traits about myself that I've always kind of had is I love me some fan fiction, and Kathy is my fan fiction of Wuthering Heights. It's kind of how I interact with the text and what it means for me, and the idea of writing a fan fiction but having it be through Garment. I had a really good time with it.
How does that play out? Like, what is that? Like, is that so? Me as an outsider, would I be able to know the narrative by looking at the pieces that you?
I would like to think you could. There are some pieces where it's definitely more heavy-handed. So what I really explored was what are my main character motives of Wuthering Heights. It's sex, and it's hating each other, and it's bondage, and it's the weather. It's gloomy, it's dark, it's cold, but there's this like underlying desire for each other. So that for me, I played that with bondage harnessing and lightweight linens for the weather, and having everything be hyper lightweight, and ruffles and nudity and cages. Some of the skirts though had actual chunks of Wuthering Heights written with every other sentence being erotic fan fiction,
that's
and that
cool.
like went right over the head of my school because they have like you have to follow like modesty laws there, which is bullshit.
Because of the school or the state?
Because it's Savannah, but
Yeah.
it's the school. They don't want any kind of nudity, anything explicit, but they did not even notice.
But it's a
like,
super
Man,
liberal
that's-
school.
you would think so, but it's written. The college is political. They want money, and in order for money, they need kids to go there. In order for kids to go there, they want the parents to think that this is an upstanding. They want the kids who have money, but perhaps not the most talent.
Right. Oh,
So
yeah.
they
I
want to
know
keep
that.
catering
Yes.
to that.
Yes.
I got into so many fights with them, and by the end of it, I don't think they liked me.
Yeah, that's such a real statement because this where we all went with Gianni Pace University is like the same way, and you can. I mean,
Well, no,
not to bash Pace, but like the student body, it's a huge spectrum of like talent and intellect, right? And the reason for that is it's a school that's $65,000 a year.
Yeah,
So
was
the way that
sad.
they do it is like we give scholarships to people with A's, and we'll let in whoever as
You've
long as
got
they're
money?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting to look at the difference in dynamic between the locations, because in New York with Pace, there was nudity galore
Oh,
every
yeah.
semester.
It was,
I was
do
nude
whatever
on
you want.
stage once, and I was down to my boxers at least 3 other times.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
and there is at least nudity in every single semester at Pace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
no,
that was never an issue.
Scad
Yeah.
didn't do that. I had
Interesting.
to go to at one point there's lawyers involved, like not mine but the schools, because I was being entered into a competition by Louis Vuitton Moet on the Sea. They do like a youth graduate collection competition, and my school was sponsoring me for it because I like to think that they could see that my work had merit, but they completely clashed with the collection. So we had the photo shoot, it was going, and then all these lawyers came in because there's a look they have where there's like, this girl has an exposed nipple, and there's nothing, she's got a jacket that's covering it, so you literally cannot even see it.
Yeah.
But the knowledge of them that underneath the jacket she had a bare nipple was too much.
Get out.
It was
Are
ridiculous.
you kidding me?
It was ridiculous.
Okay, for 2-second conversation. Where did the whole nipple thing start? Does anybody know like the history of the nipple?
like
here?
covering it?
Yeah, like it's
I'm
always
not sure.
been strange to me. Since I was little, I was like, why are men's nipples okay?
I gather it has to do with, breastfeeding and women wanting to cover that, or men wanting women to cover that in
Right.
public, and then
It's like the possession thing. Men sexualize women, and then the idea that you have like property over that or ownership.
Yeah.
so
That's
cover it up
probably
because
definitely
what
it's
it
owned.
is.
It's,
Yeah.
it's a nipple.
It's
Yeah.
so strange. It's so strange to the point where just the knowledge of knowing that there's a nipple under there, as there are under every
Honestly,
piece
it
of
was so
clothing.
stupid.
the free the nipple movement is awesome because it's so fucking ridiculous.
it really
it's
is.
such a
Crazy.
dumb thing.
Yeah. So did you feel like you were living in the South when you? Because where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Massachusetts. I was
Oh.
born in Attleboro, Massachusetts.
Oh shit, I'm from Braintree.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I lived there though until I was like 6 or 7. Then I moved.
Oh.
Yeah, so I didn't get the full like mass whole thing.
Yeah.
I grew up in Florida with Johnny. That's how we know. each
Oh,
other.
okay. So you're from Sarasota.
Yep.
Fun story. Drunkest I've ever been was in Sarasota.
Where?
Ever. It was years ago. It was when I was 18. And I went on vacation. My best friend from high school's grandma lives there. Like
Most
right.
grandmas do.
Yeah. And the story is really terrible. I've told it so many times, but basically, we went to like the main strip. There's a lot of like touristy bars, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't even know. It just seems like a touristy strip where like there's these little taxi, like
Where?
almost golf carts that bring you around. They have colorful drinks. I don't remember any of the names of the
Were you
bars.
in Lakewood Ranch? What part of town?
I don't remember.
How old were
I
you?
just know it was a
18.
strip.
Ah.
I was like 18. There was just strips of very touristy bars, and you knew they were like explicitly tourist bars.
I know this story.
And basically, what we did that entire night, we first went out to dinner with his family. It's like a big Italian family, so we had a bunch of pasta. Then we got a bottle of Malibu, and we went back to where we were staying, and we just started drinking. And we were like, oh, wow, I don't feel it, because we're 18, and we, have just kind of started drinking. But what was happening was we have a bunch of food in our stomach. So the alcohol is just kind of resting on top of it and not getting digested, right? So we kill the entire bottle. Then we go to the bar, and we're at the bar, and we're young and silly, and we're like, hey, bartender, give us 2 shots of the strongest stuff you have.
At 18?
Yeah.
And
he like had to
lied?
go downstairs to get it.
What
He was
kind
like,
of
I'll be right
bartender
back.
is that?
Did you have a fake?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got a
yeah.
fake.
But still, there's no way you look 21 and then
I don't know. I have a
fucking-
beard, and
As a bartender, hearing that kid come up to the bar being like, "Give me a shot as strong as you
Well,
got,"
he came
I would
up.
have been like, "You're like 16, man."
I know. Well, that's why it's so funny. But he came up, poured us a double shot of like something that was like 160 proof.
Probably grain alcohol.
Yeah, it was right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I swear, and this is how I've always described it, is I took that shot, turned around, and my world like followed me on like a 2-second delay. I was like, and then for the rest of the night, it's just. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but it's fine. It's just like flashes of me like dancing with moms and grandmas.
Oh God.
And like
Yes.
Sarasota, right?
No, you should totally
And-
be saying this.
And
yeah.
like I remember like talking to like husbands of these people and being
Nice.
like, "Is this okay?" and, then, like,
I'm-
and then I woke up in a pile of my own vomit in front of Ryan, my best friend's little sister, who was like 7 at the time, who was sleeping on the couch. So she woke up and found me in my vomit with a roll of paper towels in my hand. Tried to clean it up and just gave up and went to sleep.
At least
my-
we're considerate.
Yeah, so that's
tried.
Sarasota.
that's it. That's not
It's
Sarasota.
beautiful, but that's my like memory from
That's
there.
when Grant goes to Sarasota.
But Gianni's really trying to get me to go.
You
and
should.
visit.
It's really fun to come back as like Well, I guess you never lived there. Living there was kind of like, bleh, but going back and visiting is fun.
What was it like growing up there?
Quiet. It's a lot of, we're lucky because a lot of old people retire there and a lot of older people like culture. So, you know, have good theater and like, we get like good indie movies, and we have like the Burns Court, which shows all like the award nominee movies and shit. But it just was really quiet. I remember like, if anything was happening, it was either going to be in Tampa or most likely Orlando. So if I wanted to see a concert or anything, it was like, well, you got to drive 4 hours.
Yeah. Wow. Do you get sick of the beach?
No, I love the beach.
Okay.
That's so funny because doesn't Gianni say that he hates the beach?
One time, so my family has like a beach condo, and one time I tried to get him to go there. It took me like 3 years to get him to finally go there.
What is wrong with him?
He hates the beach.
Why?
Oh, and it's funny because he's a Pisces, so he should really enjoy the beach.
That's so strange. He's trying to get me to go to Florida, but I really don't like Florida.
Why does he want you to go though if he hates the beach? I don't.
There's other things to do.
Like he said, there's good theater. We can go to Orlando.
True.
There's stuff in Orlando.
Universal.
Harry Potter World.
Yeah, which I haven't been to yet.
That's true.
Really
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably plan a trip. We can go there. Yeah.
Can go there. Nice vacation.
So go into a little bit about what you've been up to since you came. When did you come to New York?
Literally a week after I graduated. So I graduated in June, but halfway through my thesis, there's this brand that I loved and had followed for about a year and a half before called Vicara. And I'd been kind of bombarding them with emails because I just could like feel it in like my loins. I was like, this is the right fit. Y'all need to notice me.
Yeah.
And halfway through my thesis, they finally emailed back, and we went back and forth. I flew out that weekend to interview with them.
Wow.
And they took me on. So I went straight to New York a week after I graduated, and I did 9 months with Vicara.
That's a great story.
I absolutely love them. They're amazing.
How long did were they responding to you initially, or did it take like?
No. It's because they're when you're going to apply for internships.
Yeah.
I swear I'd send 30 emails, and from them you'd maybe hear back from one person, and more than half the time it would be them saying, "Yeah, sorry, no, we're good."
Yeah.
It was a lot just like screaming into the void, but I just knew it. I was like, if they would just look at my portfolio, they'll take
What
me.
about it is like up your alley?
Because they're political in a way that's like not like up in your face political. They don't need to like put a slogan on a t-shirt. The whole thing is the politics of the garment. They collaborated with The Handmaid's Tale and did a bunch of stuff with that.
That's awesome.
They're like America's answer to 90s anti-fashion in Europe. They're all about deconstruction and silhouettes and stuff that's purposely ugly. And they're so good. All of it's dead stock material, so it's eco-friendly. It's all made in New York. Like they're really cool, and they're all under 30, which is like unreal.
Wow, that is crazy.
They're real, and Vogue loves them. They're in the CFDA. Like they're really, I love those guys.
That's awesome. So you like really landed your dream gig then.
Yeah, there was really wonderful time being with them. I got to do so much shit. That was so cool.
Was it ever like were you ever second guessing yourself when you kept sending the emails, or did you just
Yeah, because they were so cool, and I knew what they looked like, and I was like, they're probably like reading this and like they don't like me.
But you persisted anyway, and that's like it's such a simple story, but it's such a great story. You know? It's like persist.
Well, I don't really know anything about like the fashion industry. Like, is it super competitive? Like, is there
insanely? Fashion loves, and every industry says this, but I feel like particularly fashion loves youth. You're 21, you land an internship, that's great. There's an 18-year-old in California who's doing an eco-friendly collection.
Why is that?
It's because it's beauty. Fashion is all about beauty, and it's all about that. Is a punitive above art, and youth has this direct connotation with beauty. Look at Kaya Gerber. Our supermodels of today are like 16-year-olds.
Right.
In the 90s, they were at least 20.
Yeah.
But you're in direct competition. Every year that you are post-grad, there are more and more people who are in competition with you, and they would rather have those people because they can hire them younger and for less money.
Wow.
So you really, it's...
I guess I've never like made the connection of like youth equals beauty, and that's so that actually plays a part in the fashion industry.
Yeah. My girlfriend has a degree from FIT in fashion, in lingerie and evening wear, and it's so hard.
That's sick. Where does she work?
She doesn't work in the industry because it's too hard to find a job. She's literally about to open up her own dance studio because it's been like since graduation, going on interview after interview after interview, and they're not taking anyone. She said, I actually talked to her about it the other day because she wants to continue doing her own line of things once she opens up the school and kind of gets settled into doing that. And she started talking to people from her class, and there's only like 2 people from her class that are even working in the field, and one of them is in Korea.
Wow.
Like,
that's smart. Probably doing like pattern work or some shit.
yeah. So it's like, it's such a, and I can't, you obviously know it much better than I do, but from what she says, it's incredibly competitive.
It is, and it's an industry rife with people who are not the nicest. But it's not. People have seen The Devil Wears Prada and they think they know fashion. It's really, really not like that. But it's a lot of like people who are very confident and sure of themselves. And if you are not necessary and you can be cut off, why keep?
Is that hard? Like dealing with people like, because I know. We were we were just producing a podcast. I'm not going to say the name, but it was a fashion podcast, and we actually had a really difficult time. I don't know if Gianni mentioned this to you, but we had a really hard time working with the people. And I didn't want to generalize, but you just saying that, like, that's kind of what it was. It was kind of like their main personality trait was like, we know best. Like, even though we're producers, kind of, So like you like, I know we don't. They'd be like, we don't know anything about audio production, but here's how you should do it. or like say something that's just not possible to do and expect us to know how to do it, or not even know how to do it, but make it possible, right?
You're expected to it's like, it's a weird self-perpetuating cycle of people who are like, everyone's so mean to me, and then you build up your guard, you learn to be good with that, and then you're the person being a dick.
So maybe it just like strangely makes you stronger. Like builds
I wonder what that is though. It's like that's fashion. It's also like the entertainment industry. A lot of people in the entertainment industry the same way. It's like it's these arts industries. I don't know why. It's really people that are like established at the kind of like heading everything, like the producers or the heads of the company that are like big wigs, not for maybe any particular reason, but they got their nose kind of up in the air.
Well, it's like it's so competitive that like when you finally break through and you're like the person, you must kind of feel like a god, right? You must feel like you know best in all situations. Look at what you've done. You've overcome all the competition.
It would be easy to find yourself there, for sure.
I always wonder what that will feel like, because I'm always fascinated by this just as like a concept of being before you have life goals or life moments that are inevitable. So for instance, the one I always reference is graduating. Like high school, you're like, oh god, what's gonna feel like when you walk across the stage in your degree, and then you do that and it feels so everyday and ordinary. There's nothing like, how do you become? What is the feeling of becoming? Like, what is it like? I've done. I don't think it exists.
No.
I totally feel what you're saying, and I totally like have thought about the same thing. It's like every monumental moment never lives up to what it is in your head.
No.
And like, can it ever? Like, will anything ever live up to that moment? I think we think too much
in what you said is monumental moments. I think we think too much in monumental moments, and we should think in a steady being content every day is a little bit better than thinking in like, oh, I got to get this thing. And then you're like, I got to get this nice new car. And then like, that'll make me really happy. I got to get this really nice new house. That'll make me happy. Instead, just like, wake up happy. Wake up, hit your alarm at 6 a.m. and be like, yeah, I'm good.
I see my problem is like I need something like that. Like, just me personally is like, I need like the next thing to look forward to, or the next thing to accomplish. Like that kind of keeps me going.
I think we all do.
I won't do it. That's why I like these like little freelance gigs, because like they force me to do stuff. If I don't, I won't. If I don't have a deadline that's like right there, I'll fuck around.
I was just talking to my coworker about that today, about how like I'm so bad at doing things without deadlines. Like I really need the deadline to stay on track. Otherwise, I'll be all over the fucking place.
What if you set your own deadlines?
Well, see, but you set them. Like deep down, you know that they're your deadlines, so there's no stakes.
Try and trick yourself, but
you have to have stakes, and so
completely.
But so you moved to New York, and you started working for this company, and what have you been doing? What have you done with them for the past 9 months or so?
So everything. It feels like they are a super small studio. There's 3 designers.
How many people work there total?
When I was there, it was like 5 of us.
Oh,
wow.
It's Bryn, Patrick, and Claire.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Claire. She's probably going to be like, why'd you say my name like that if she even watched this? But I doubt it. They're the 3 designers of Vicara. It used to be 4, but then it's only 3 of them now. And there's one studio manager who is the angel of heaven. Her name is Laura. And that's the team V. Then there's kind of a rotating cast of interns who come in and out. I was the longest intern they've ever had. They asked me to stay, and then I stayed. And then it got to a point where it was like, I've really been here. And their lawyer was like, how long has he been here? I ran for them their press email, so I worked with celebrity clientele for custom orders while I was there. Wow. They did Lorde and Christina Aguilera. They made custom outfits for.
Wow.
We also lent for magazines, for press, for photo shoots. I kind of took that over because I like to be good at things. And after doing it for a week, I was like, I can do this and I can do it better than you guys have been doing it. So I took it over and they were like, well, you're doing really good at this. So that was my main project. But I also would like drape, cut, sew. They would use this to make all the samples for the runway show. So it's always nice to look at the runway show, be like, oh, I sewed that. That's mine.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I really felt like a part of it, and I think that's their best attributes. They really make you feel like you're a part of Team Vicara. Yeah. So even now that I've left, I'm still like, they let me use their studio the other night. They really support us.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I love them.
And now you're just busting your ass working like crazy.
Yeah, I got a paid gig at Vince Camuto, which is a really, I went kind of from two broad spectrum opposites.
Yeah.
Vicara, which is small, indie, cool Brooklyn thing, to Vince Camuto, which is like at every Macy's in America.
Right.
But what I will say is that they're some of the nicest people I've met in the fashion industry so far. The team of people I'm working with there are all so impossibly like lovely and kind, and have been so welcoming. Whereas in the past, other places I've been have been so pretentious and mean and off-putting. I feel like there's this like ego annihilation of like making like t-shirts for grandmas. That's like, I don't give a fuck what like you think of me.
Right. Yeah. That's so fun. Isn't it amazing how like the job almost doesn't matter and it just totally depends on the people that are surrounding you?
Yeah, a lot of the time.
That can really determine like how good a job is. It's not even what you're doing, but
it's the people around you, but it's also the one person that oversees you. If that person's an asshole, it can ruin the whole thing.
Having a boss.
Yep.
I hate having a boss.
If they're nice, it's amazing, and you have good coworkers. Like, keep that job, do it. Yeah. Don't move. Yeah. But if you can have the best coworkers, but if that one person above you, oh my god, bad workplace.
That's restaurants. Restaurants usually. Like, the team will be dope, and then the restaurant manager is just like.
And you don't want to leave because you're like, oh, everyone here is so cool. Yeah. I make good money. It's good vibes.
I hate leaving a job because I like you make work friends, and it's just like, all right, I'll see you. Then you never see them.
You'll never see them.
Right. Yeah.
It's also the reality of New York too. Yeah. It's like, oh, you live up there. Oh, it's only, like I live down here. Yeah.
Right.
Bye.
It doesn't happen.
Bye.
Right.
That's so sad. It's so true.
How's your social life been since you've been in New York?
Hermetic, honestly.
Yeah.
I met a bunch of people through Vicara that were other interns, and a bunch of my friends from SCAD moved here, and I've tried to keep connections, but the truth is I'm really like a one-track mind person, and I really easily cut myself off from people. I feel like I used to be a social butterfly in Savannah, if you'd believe it. I was kind of like a prom princess.
Yeah.
Everyone knew me. I'm tall. I'm easy to see.
Right.
I go to parties, and I felt really like people were excited to see me there. I felt like a socialite. But then I started my thesis, and I kind of said fuck it to all of that. And then I dropped off the social map, and I've kind of continued that. But
are you okay with that?
I don't know. Yes and no. Yes, because I like the work I'm doing now. And I am kind of naturally, I prefer to be alone a lot of the time, but I do really miss going out, and I miss like the community of like having a lot of people like know you and you know them, and it's just like easy friends.
Yeah. It's kind of natural with like, I've no experience that too, and I think it's just natural with getting out of college and getting older and figuring out your priorities with life. Yeah. It's like, well, would I rather go out or would I rather make it so that the next 2 weeks at work are fucking easy by doing a little bit extra now? You know, like it's kind of, you really start to prioritize like an adult. It sucks. Yeah. It's not fun. I'd much rather go out and like not have to think about shit,
It's so true.
Yeah, the friend group really like gets cut down to like a very core group of people. But I like that. Friends. I like that because it's also like in my experience, it gets cut down to the people where it's like, it seems like at any time you could just be like, hey, you want to do this random thing at this random time because this is the only time I'm free.
Right.
And usually it's people that are like, down to do that. Right. And I like that.
That is nice.
But I have the same thing as you. Like I get really bad tunnel vision on projects, like really bad. Keith was just telling me the other day where I'll just like be like, and people will be talking to me and I'll be doing other things and I'll have to ask people to like repeat themselves because even though I'm engaged in something else, my mind is on whatever project I'm working on. It's really bad. And I just found out today that might be a form of like ADD, because what it is it's attention deficit because you're not paying attention right? You have like hyper attention to one thing, but you're not paying attention to other things around you. I've never heard it defined like that before, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Be careful you're not running into a diagnosis that's not really a diagnosis, and they're just trying to feed you. Feed you pills.
Feed me.
Yeah.
Mouth's wide open. Fine by me. All right, so should we move on to headlines? Do you want to bring up your
fun one?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do want to bring this up. I wish I remembered her name. But so essentially, I love me some fan fiction, and this kind of was like shaking Twitter and Tumblr, because this fan account on Twitter called Daily Taylor Updates or something had disappeared for like 2 months, and then it was actually 3 months, and then she tweeted and she was like, "Hi guys, I'm back. As most of you know, I was in prison, but I'm back again and with more Taylor updates." And then, everyone of course is like, "What the fuck? You went to prison?"
Right.
And then it kind of went from there, and we all began to know this girl. I feel like her name was like Ohan or something. Anyways, she's an anti-Zionist Jewish woman, she's a woman. I think she's 18, who lives in Israel, and she refused to join the IFP, and the consequence of that is state-mandated imprisonment. And she just had these crazy prison stories of like people like smuggling in fan fiction in binders, and that being like passed around like the prison.
That's so funny.
It's hilarious.
She engaged in lesbian relationships while in prison.
So she's posting all of this stuff while she's also posting updates on
How is this happening? Like, how is this like
that's stan culture? So like you like have this like group of people that become like weird close friends, and your only shared interest really is like, oh, I love Taylor, me too. Oh, so my period. Like, it's just to overshare with people.
Right.
It's such a funny, like, I don't know, I love it so much. I was crying at work the other day, not even like because I was laughing. There was just something about the fan fiction that they smuggled into the prison is One Direction Larry Stylinson fan fiction, which is like this old conspiracy theory that two of the boys are in a relationship together.
Yeah.
And she was saying that like half the people in the prison who are like reading and like actively masturbating to this erotica had no idea who they were, but they were just like so desperate for any kind of like stimulation.
Oh my god.
I just love that so much.
That's so funny. What is it about fan fiction that you like?
I have a deep answer for that. I did a lot of thinking about it. A lot of my work kind of has to do with it, because it's a silly thing, and I know it's a silly thing, but it has to do with seeing yourself somewhere that you currently are not, and it's self-insertion and through common fiction. And so much of I've always been a bookish kid. A lot of like my big things in my life have always been books that I've really connected to and related to. But the problem is, as who I am, and I'm not trying to make this, I'm a really, really, really catered to. I'm not a minority at all. I'm a white guy. I'm cis. I am gay, but a lot of my characters that I read as a kid were women or men, and they weren't gay. So you have this chance really to be like, I love this so much, I'm going to put myself in it, essentially.
Yeah, that is cool.
And I love that. And I love reading other people's interpretations of it, and I just think it's so needed and necessary. And too often it's in the media made out to be silly and meaningless, when some of the best shit I've read in like the past 5 years has been fan fiction, and like I'm a pretty avid reader. That's my part of sticking to it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I don't know much about it, but that explanation makes sense. Like, of course you'd want to be in what you love.
Yeah,
right? Of course
I don't know much about it either, but I do know it is this fan fiction. I remember like on YouTube, I used to love these videos. Star Wars videos of people making videos of themselves doing like lightsaber battles and like setting up scenes and everything. I used to watch that shit all. Is that like constituted, or is it?
It's
more?
In the same family. That's live action role play. That's LARPing.
There you go.
It's a
LARPing.
LARPing.
Oh, it has a name. That's cool.
Hell yeah. I love like communities like that. Anyone who loves something so passionately, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, I love seeing people that are passionate about something. It's like the best feeling.
Yep.
And talking to, like, I love the energy, like the feedback you get from somebody who's talking about something they love doing. It really is like, it's a very unique energy.
Yep. When you get a teacher that like really is passionate about what they're teaching about, you can tell, and they make you passionate about it, even if you don't like the subject. Yeah. All of a sudden you're really engaged because they're engaged.
I think that's why it's great, because it's like contagious like that. Like they motivate you. You're like, fuck, I need to be doing what I want to be doing right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So real.
Yeah. So a headline. I'm gonna kick this off for you, and we can all talk about this.
All right, go ahead.
Polish priests burn Harry Potter books to protest magic.
I I did see that headline, but I didn't read the article.
So let's read a little bit. Priests in Poland will not tolerate people praising a book that alleges miracles, persecution, and acts of selflessness. An evangelical group calling itself the SMS from Heaven Foundation posted video online of their leaders burning Harry Potter books. The group's Facebook page shows a priest and 2 young boys standing over a fire pit filled with books, including the works of writer J.K. Rowling, whose fictional Potter series follows the adventures of a boy wizard, blah, 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 blah. The group's posting reads, "We obey the word," capital W and word, in Polish.
I'm reading down further on it because I had this one as well. It's all against like Catholicism. Like they think that like it's all against like the Harry Potter, even though they have good. It says right here, claimed ultimately that they are packaged in a medium, witchcraft, that is directly denounced in Scripture. So while they have good qualities about them, they go against the Scripture. It's like,
well, it's like which magic is real.
Yeah, but can we all take a step back for a second and realize it's a fiction novel?
Yeah.
Like, come on, priests.
I wasn't allowed to read them as a kid.
Really?
When
How come?
I grew up kind of religious. I got out of it because my family got out of it. I wasn't allowed to play Pokemon. I wasn't allowed to read Harry Potter. Beauty and the Beast, when he transforms, anything that had magic or anything like that was considered ungodly, unholy.
Why? What's the deal with magic?
Even if it's fiction.
No, it's got something to do with how the idea that magic exists, mean that miracles exist, mean that man can do miracles, meaning that it's a whole bizarre thing.
That is weird.
I'm not unaware of it. Luckily, my mom is not dumb, so she was like, "Fuck this." And by the time I was like probably 11 or 12, I was playing Pokemon like it was my only thing.
Yeah. I don't know why Pokemon would be an issue. That seems like an odd one. Evolution.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that makes sense.
That's entirely why we weren't allowed to.
Yeah. I feel like there's more serious things the church needs to focus on.
Yeah, maybe.
Instead of burning
kids.
Yeah, that seems like something that might
get some
attention.
On a serious headline, I just remember reading about that. There's a new Me Too movement happening within nuns.
No.
Yeah, a whole thing about that, about misabuse of power in.
Who's abusing power in that situation?
It would be like the priest. Or whatever they're called.
They're separated by house, I believe. They have to stay in different houses and
Listen, is anybody surprised if you tell a human being that they can't engage in sexual activity, that strange things are going to happen?
Right.
It's like you're cutting off a biological urge. Like it's like saying don't eat.
Right.
Like you're gonna eat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's
you might eat whatever is around, like
sex is too natural. I have a quick 30-second story. One of my favorite writers, Maurice Sachs, he was popular never, but he was part of this kind of existentialist movement in Paris, like Simone de Beauvoir, Jean-Paul Sartre, all of them. He was the illegitimate husband of Violette Leduc. He was gay, she was gay. They got in this relationship because it was convenient for both of them. He robbed $50,000 from Coco Chanel because he was like the ultimate scammer goals. She sent hitmen out to kill him, and in order to evade them, he joined a priesthood and became a priest to, so people wouldn't kill him. But then he was caught having gay sex with another priest and got kicked out of the priesthood. And then he died, in a concentration camp, which is the sad ending of it. But he was such an icon. I love him.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Wow.
Anyways, that's my
yeah.
priests and that shit.
Yeah, there was a recent thing too that was like a Buddhist monk was caught like running a brothel somewhere. I forget where it was.
The moral turpentine and gray
it's just
area.
Come on, people. 2019. Like, can we let them like?
To me, it's obviously it's like incredibly fucked up, like what's going on within the Catholic Church right now. But at the same time, my response is kind of like,
look what you're making.
Look at the rules you've established. Yep. Like you're sort of asking for
weird shit to happen.
Right.
You don't know what, but weird shit to happen.
I was thinking about that. I wonder when that was established, because it wasn't always a thing that priests weren't allowed to engage in sex, because at one point they were like rock stars. Yeah, they were like banging everyone.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, they were just kind of like...
They were the thing. Yeah. They were the thing that everyone listened to.
Right. But then somebody...
Choral chanting.
Then they had theater, and they started to go by the wayside.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Love the priest.
I have a great headline.
Bring it in.
Donald Trump claims windmill noise causes cancer.
Yeah.
So in a video, there's a video of him talking about how Hillary he goes, she wants the wind. She wants the wind. And then he starts talking about, he goes, let me tell you, if you have, I'll play it for you. He starts talking about how the windmills are going to bring your property down by 75%. Then he goes, don't have a house underneath one. All the birds get killed by windmills. You'll be laying in a pile of dead birds.
Oh my God.
Shit. It's amazing. Come on. Play.
Hillary wanted to put up wind.
He's standing in front of the bush that Homer Simpson.
Congratulations. 75% in value. And they say the noise causes cancer. You tell me that one, okay? You know, the thing makes it so. And of course, it's like a graveyard for birds. If you love birds, you'd never want to walk under a windmill because it's a very...
What? Excuse me?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a graveyard for birds.
What's it going to be today, Trump? What are we talking about today? Windmills?
He needs to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a good reaction to
Right.
the audience. They were buying it.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
in.
like,
they're in on it.
I've been saying that. Like, once he's done being president, he should... I mean, the thing is, he would never admit he's doing comedy, right? But he would go on like a comedy tour that he wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
People were like, "You're going on tour to speak," but it was advertised to people secretly that it was like a comedy show.
Yeah.
And everybody would laugh because people would think it was all bits.
Yeah.
Like that's what it seems like. It seems
and
like
he
he's
thinks
doing
he's
bits.
running for president in 2024.
Yeah.
He's a fun one.
That's crazy. But I don't get the logic behind the noise causes cancer.
There is no logic.
And like every punk I know would be dead by now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so ridiculous. So we have, I think I mentioned this one before the podcast, but it's so good. That woman runs herself over while parking car. So what happened is she got out of her car and then noticed it was rolling back. And so her and a bystander like tried to stop it and she fell and the car just rolled over her.
Did you hear about the remember the actor from Star Trek? There was a Star Trek actor. He's like a Swedish guy, I think. I might be totally wrong on that. It was in Hollywood. Like this was like a year ago. And he got out of his car, forgot to put it in park, went down to the bottom of the driveway to get the trash barrels, and the car rolled down and pinned him against his like cement wall.
Did he die?
Oh yeah, he killed him.
Wow, worst way to die ever.
Yeah, horrible.
Very awful.
Did she run herself over and die, or did she just run herself
I don't
over?
think she
How old
died.
was she?
Oh.
I don't
made it
know.
more dark.
Let's see if it says. Doesn't say how old she was.
I get that's like a really human reaction to be like, I've got to stop this massive thing
But,
with
like-
my
Right.
puny body.
Right.
Get out of the way.
Literally.
Get out of the
The
way.
car being damaged isn't worth like a broken limb.
No.
Right. Also, if it was parked in a parking lot, like how fast could it have been rolling? You know, like the whole thing must have been like so funny because it must have been really slow, right?
someone
It
else
must have
got
like
involved.
slowly rolled over her. Like she probably had some time to get away, but like
But that was a good
She just like there were
noise.
multiple incidents there where she didn't think at
yeah,
all.
yeah. The best part is like the woman, along with a bystander,
Bystander.
tried to stop the vehicle when she totally pushed her down. Bystander pushed her.
Yes.
It was
God.
all planned.
You're
It was all
making it
planned.
way more dark.
Yeah, I know. Huh?
All right, here, ready for this one? Governor Bevin in Kentucky signs a bill banning they finally got around to this.
Okay.
Banning sex with animals. So,
Oh, good.
finally officially after all the incidents I guess in Kentucky, bestiality is no longer allowed. So you can rest assured no animals will be fucked in Kentucky anymore.
Fun story on my end on this
We'll tap
topic.
it here.
So my hometown, Goshen, New York. It's upstate New York.
Oh, yeah, you fucked the horse.
I fucked the horse.
Nice.
I did not, but it's famous for it's the first horse track in the state of New York. So like people come to this town to like watch horses, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was a senior in high school, one day I woke up and the cover of the newspaper was
Oh no.
we had two high schools in my town. My high school, which was the public high school, and then another high school, which was the Catholic school. And a senior from that school had been caught on the security cameras fucking the horses in the
Oh.
stables.
Good for him.
Yeah.
My God.
So what he would do is, well, first they installed cameras because they heard weird noises from the stables.
Ugh.
He had to get up on like a stool and would repeatedly fuck the horses, and they have it all on camera, and he went to jail. Well, obviously, but could you imagine?
Yeah. Well, again,
could you imagine fucking a horse?
But went to great lengths and multiple times when he could have turned back away from that decision. And
have you both seen the video of
Mr. Hands?
The guy getting fucked by the horse?
Yes.
And then he dies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love that one.
Yeah.
That's a ye old one.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like OG internet.
Yeah, real old.
Also, but like horse dicks,
scary.
Super scary.
Yeah.
Like feet long.
I saw a walrus dick once. That was terrifying.
Really?
I was at the aquarium and just started rubbing it like on the
glass. Like, literally, that's like the thing they don't tell you. It's like any mammal, they're gonna masturbate.
Yeah.
Whenever they want.
It's so funny.
They don't care who's there.
Yeah, that's so funny.
He was rubbing it like himself, or was he rubbing it on?
He was like rubbing it on the glass in front of like everybody.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. He knows what he's doing.
Remember those videos that were like when we were in middle school and high school? Those were like so funny. Like every week there was like a new one, like a new like strange sex video. Yeah. Like the guy who sits on the glass bottle.
It was the jar.
Yeah.
Broke in him.
Yeah.
And he's pulling out the shards.
Yeah, and then there was blood starts dripping. And then there was what was the
what
blue
websites
waffle?
Were those on? Those were on like some. What was the website?
It was always just like a weird name, so it would be like Lemon Party or Blue Waffle,
Penn Island. Penn Island.
Yeah, what was that one?
What is it?
Penn Island.
What's that one?
Penis Land. Penn Island.
What was it?
It was. Yes, you would think it was Penis Land.
Oh, okay.
That one wasn't really. There wasn't weird sex so much as it was surprise sex.
Ah.
You thought you were gonna see Penn Island, and you got Penis Land.
Nice.
Right. There were so many of them.
Meat spin, 2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember there's like a full Wikipedia article about 2 girls, 1 cup.
That's amazing.
And I'm so proud and like happy to tell everyone it was a chocolate bar that was rectally inserted before filming.
No way, really?
Yes. That like makes me sleep at night.
Is that cited on Wikipedia? Is there a source?
Because there is like literally everyone wanted to know the answers. So
right.
They contacted production company.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
the best
it was real vomit, but fake poop.
It was real vomit?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Fake poop.
Nice.
Fake poop. Well.
They had to keep some of it real.
Yeah.
You know?
The element of surprise.
There goes my dreams. You know?
Yeah. Gotta switch it up. Wank, change it up.
Back to horses. You know. Yeah. That was the best. Was the reaction videos to 2 girls, 1 cup. Those were so funny.
Because the music was so funny to listen to.
Right. It was like soap opera music. Yeah.
Violin.
Yeah. That was so good. 2 girls, 1 cup. So good.
10 out of 10. Would recommend.
I got one more.
Okay.
This one's kind of morbid. Kind of. Drama student stabs 2 classmates while acting out scene from The Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher. So he did a scene in acting class, and there's the part of the scene where Ashton Kutcher's character stabs the 2 people like that he's with.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, this kid in the middle of drama class whips out a fucking knife and stabs his 2 scene partners.
Dude, it's called method acting. Literally. Heard of it?
Yeah, that is the most true form of method. And 2 people weren't in on it. One of them is in the hospital in critical condition. Stabbed him in the back and in the chest, and then ran out and fled the room.
Wow, he must have had some beef.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
He had like an episode.
That must have been a thing that he planned for months and months and months. He was like, I'm not an actor, but I'm gonna join this club. Like this guy like stole his girlfriend or something. He was like, I'm gonna join the acting club. I'm going to go undercover. I'm going to get the part as the murderer. I'm going to bring a real knife. I'm going to stab him. Then I'm going to run away. Dude, he planned it for like 2 years.
If I was that actor, I would have some serious like PTSD. I'd be like, I could never do a fucking scene again.
Yeah, that's
of course.
No way.
Of course.
No way.
Yeah. It's like a movie where it's like they're trying to overcome that the whole movie.
Yeah, right.
Like Michael Cera.
Yeah.
That would be perfect. All right, I have one more headline just because it's a great headline.
Okay.
The story is like, okay, but the headline's so funny to match with the story. So the headline is just, in quotes, I don't think I can recall a worse story, farmer terrorized.
What do you do?
That's the headline. And over 100 vegans have illegally stormed a Queensland cattle farm and terrorized a local farmer and his family. In like a protest.
Way.
And the photo of it is amazing because it looks like something from The Walking Dead.
Oh.
It's just like 100 protesters like running on his property like through a field with like matching shirts on. They look like zombies from The Walking Dead.
Ruining like his crop and everything.
That's like, it's this weird old PETA tactic that like other groups do. They're like try to do like, you would, if it was a person you would care, but they just end up looking really weird and uninvited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was funny because the headline is just like worst day of a farmer's life ever. There's like 100 vegans like running at it,
trampling his strawberries.
It's pretty fucking funny.
All right, we're going on to unpopular opinions to finish it off.
Yeah. Did you look at this thread? You didn't have to,
No,
but it's
I
so
haven't.
funny.
Oh, it's the
okay,
best.
so basically what it is it's a Reddit thread. It has like hundreds of thousands.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, and people just post like the most ridiculous, unpopular opinions.
I saw one. Yeah, I do the homepage in the morning, and then before I go to bed, I always look at what the fuck. It's just like a nightly ritual.
Yeah, it's so good. So we just we'll look through some, and then we'll talk about how we feel about it. So you have one?
I do.
You could also, if you want to bring it up on your phone, you're welcome to, but we'll just...
No, I like not being in the know.
And just
Involved.
surprise, yeah.
I'm just hearing it. If you don't put the whole Pringle in your mouth, you're the weakest link.
True.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That is real.
Can't eat that shit.
Also...
It crumbles everywhere.
Literally all over.
All
you if
over
you. Bite
you.
into it, yeah.
Yeah. You know what else crumbles? Those Nature Valley bars. Remember how awful they were?
Yep.
Whenever you ate them, they went...
They go
fucking
everywhere. You talking about the breakfast bars?
Yeah, but they were like basically granola that was just waiting to come apart.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about croissants. They always get like
Yeah.
all over your face and all over whatever you're
They're
wearing.
so good,
Yeah.
though.
I'm at a
So
point in my life
tasty.
where I'm just like, this is just how it's gonna be.
Yep.
Like I'm gonna have food all over
There's
me.
gonna
I'm
be a
just gonna
slob.
go for it.
Yep.
Depends on the
Yeah.
day for me.
Yeah.
I gotta
Well,
do it.
you're in fashion. You can't have food all over your clothes.
Depends on the clothes.
Yeah.
Do you have one? You want me to
I'm
do
still
another?
getting it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby boomers are the most entitled generation in U.S. history.
Dope. Yeah, I don't think that's unpopular. I feel like that's just our whole generation. We think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unpopular amongst other generations, but
They're
I
so
think our
condescending. It's
Yep.
unreal. It's
Yeah.
like, it's one of my favorite things. It's like baby boomers like you've had everything handed to you. How do you open a PDF?
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Like-
Also, like they are so cushy. Like their position in life is
Yeah.
so cushy.
Talk
that-
about a generation that had things. I mean, not handed to them, but come on, you had very good circumstances.
Completely.
You know.
Yeah, and like their wages are like most of like their wages are 3 or 4 times like anything millennials make.
Yeah, as long as you survived the wars, you
Yeah.
were good.
I have such anger against them for their apathy towards. I feel like we are dealing with the environmental, political, all this shit that they left behind.
Yep.
And it's
Mhm.
like, what were you doing?
yeah.
Right.
Like,
Well,
just
they were
didn't
just
care
they were
for-
just
they were
making
watching
money.
Friends.
They were making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly
So
what
it's
it
like,
is.
and that's kind of what they're trying to continue doing. It feels
Yeah.
like is we're gonna make as much money as
Before we
can,
die.
and then you'll take care of it, or science will take care of it, which is what a lot of people think.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, at least in
Yeah,
regards to
fuck them.
climate. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad. Okay, ready for this one?
Mm.
I drink the tuna water out of the can, and it tastes delicious.
Nah, fuck that.
Oh my god.
Fuck that.
What?
Okay, so we have to
Is
talk
it a
about
cat that
right, right. We have to talk about like the Met. Well, let me read about exactly how he does this. Okay, so this is what he wrote. It starts with exactly what the title says. I love opening a can of tuna and drinking all the brine inside. It's salty but refreshing and has a nice fishy taste. 10 out of 10, recommend. Okay. Yeah, you're a feline.
That's
Yeah,
disgusting.
You know?
that's like what was the thing that we did last week? Oh, the frozen food. The guy that eats the frozen food straight out of the freezer doesn't warm it up.
Just, like,
That
lets it
seems
get
more-
lost in his mouth.
Yeah, like
that
the
seems
same
more
thing.
acceptable than the tuna water for some reason.
The tuna water.
That's
Can you?
disgusting.
What would you do if you came upstairs one day and I was opening a can of tuna and instead of putting it on anything, mixing it up in a nice macaroni salad, I just took the cap and just started to.
It's just, ew.
Honestly, wouldn't
Squeeze
be
it out of
that out
there.
of character.
Wouldn't be out of character.
Yeah, wouldn't be super out of character. Would probably just,
In
normal
my
morning.
rags. I
Yeah.
feel like you have to be dressed in rags to be doing shit like that.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
bad. That's really an unpopular opinion.
I wonder if he squeezes it because when you open a can of tuna, you have to press down the top and it
Yeah.
comes out. I wonder if he does that just into his mouth.
That's
Oh.
even more gag worthy.
Okay, so here's a semi-serious one.
Oh.
But I don't know. I guess it is unpopular. I think it's controversial. We should legalize prostitution.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah?
Completely. Yeah,
Why do you agree with that? I'm just curious.
Lived experience. It shouldn't be anything that I should have to have an opinion on because it's not my current situation. But I do know many different sex workers in different parts of the industry, whether it's like BDSM bondage, regular, hooking, camming, those different things.
Yeah.
When SEFSA, I think that's the term of the two bills, passed and Backpage was taken down, it completely eliminated a lot of the safety.
I don't know anything about that. Can you talk about that
there
for a
was
sec?
this bill that passed. So there was this really, really popular way if you wanted to be an escort or you wanted to, do anything in the industry, there was Backpage. And Backpage was where you'd go looking for that, kind of like the Craigslist to hookers.
Okay.
The thing is, it was self-run and self-maintained. So this was really, really good for sex workers because you could screen the people you're going to hook up with and all these different things. And it was safe and good for them. And when that passed, that got rid of it. A lot of different places were taken down. And instead of, the whole thing was that it was supposed to be an elimination of human trafficking. If anything, it made it harder for people who are actually pursuing sex work, who are not being human trafficked to get work. And nothing for the people who are being human trafficked.
Right.
So it's just, it needs to be, I feel like it should be regulated. I feel like it should be safe for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
But it should be legal.
It's going to happen
that's
anyway.
the problem, right? Like those two things are getting conflated, right? It's like there's an assumption that any sort of prostitution or like sex worker doesn't want to be doing it.
It's the oldest industry.
Right. Like they assume that somebody's pressuring them or I don't know. And that's just definitely not always the case. I mean, for me, it's just like it comes down to like it's your body.
Right.
Do what you want.
Also, this is my favorite is you can pay two people to have sex on a camera in front of you. Right. They can't pay one another.
Right.
But you can pay them.
Yeah.
To fuck for you to watch, but you can't get involved.
Weird.
But even though that definitely happens,
yeah, it's like if
and
it's
yet that's cool.
happening,
And the only law that within that industry is you have to be 18.
In some states.
In some states, yeah. So that's so strange to me. It's like that's the strange. Like to me, that's just like mind-boggling. It's like okay, this is okay, but you can't give him the money.
That's just like another law that hasn't been looked at in a very long time. It needs to be looked at again. And I think if it were looked at again in today's day and age, would probably get turned around.
The problem is our country is far, far, far too ingrained. And I don't want to be like edgelord with this shit, but it's just a fact. We're really kind of founded on a really religious place.
Totally. Yeah. Protestant values.
We don't like to say we were.
Yeah.
We don't like to say we were, but we were.
And it just would never happen.
No.
It's just sad because I am seeing it affect people really poorly, and it's
that sucks.
Dangerous for them.
Yep.
That sucks.
That's no good.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Make it safe.
I mean, have either of you been to Amsterdam where it is?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So you go there and the sex workers there, it's like they're freelancers and they fill out a tax form at the end of the year. They do their taxes and those windows that they're in, they just pay rent for every month. Yeah, so they pay rent and they make money and it's just what they've chosen to do. Right. And it's just like it's like any other job.
It makes sure that everything is clean.
Yeah, there's like protocol that they have to go and get tested and exactly, and it's safe and yeah.
It makes it also for the clientele. It gives them a sort of stature. Make sure that everything is clean for them too.
Right.
Yeah. I have a good one.
Okay.
Cake is much better with no frosting.
No, I think frosting is better with no cake. Honestly.
Spoken like really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I work at a bakery, but I really don't fuck with cake. I like a nice pie.
Yeah, pie's good. What's your favorite pie?
That's a bold question. I love custard pie. That's easy. Like an Amish custard pie made with like no electricity. That's my favorite.
That's good. I like pecan pie. Pecan pie.
That one is really good.
Yeah. It's very good.
Apple pie, ice cream, vanilla ice cream. Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
As long as there's no like, I hate when people make apple pie, but they keep like the apple skin in it. Because then you get like all, I hate that.
No,
just a bunch of skin.
I don't think I've ever had that.
Oh,
what?
I have.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had. Yeah.
Yeah, they leave the skin on. You have
That's
to peel
just
all that
lazy.
off.
Yeah.
That's just lazy.
Come on now, learn how to bake. Let's see. Should we do like two more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Let's
not?
see. Oh, speaking of pie, apple pie is overrated, and there are better pies.
Wow.
It's true. Okay.
Oh.
Does that hurt?
Oh.
Read it.
The best way to drink milk is with ice.
No, fuck that.
Why?
Yeah.
Who drinks milk first off?
Yeah. First of all,
Isn't that
check
but
yourself.
Yeah.
And then ice.
whenever you meet somebody who does that, it's like you would, you know.
Yeah.
It's always like,
You're
of course
so
you
that
do.
person.
Yeah, I think it's so strange when somebody drinks a giant glass of milk in the morning. There are people who do it every single morning. They drink a giant glass of milk.
If I had a big glass of just
You
milk, I think I'd
would.
be so sick.
Yeah,
I would feel like very bloated and like gross.
yeah.
Haven't done that since I was like a kid.
Oh, this is interesting.
It's not fun. I hated it.
Oh wait, how about that? I
Oh.
hate the sound of people breathing.
Depends on the person.
Yeah, I agree. I think
That's not one. That one really stresses me out. Have you ever heard the death rattle?
No.
Mm-mm.
It's like a phenomenon that happens when someone's about to die. It's like it's a part of your body shutting down.
Yeah.
God.
I remember the first time I heard it, it's always stuck with me. It's this
Is it
awful noise.
dark?
It feels liquidy, almost like your throat's full of phlegm. It's really labored. It's really
Oh,
awful,
jeez.
and you're just like,
Yeah.
Ever since I heard that, I've always been really aware of it. It's not a good noise. It's
Yeah.
not that breathing.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not all breathing. Though.
It's like also when
Yeah.
people are like really loud when they chew too. That like they.
So that's the thing for me is chewing, because I grew up with people in my family that chewed really loud.
Me
And
too.
I've become hyper aware of it
Me-
because of that.
Me too.
It's particularly like cereal and stuff like pita chips. And it's just
Meat.
like,
But that's a loud food.
I know, I know, but that's because those foods were so amplified.
So are you like one of the people like when I eat those it's the same thing and I try and make it
Yeah.
jazz and
I always
crack.
wonder how loud like chewing, because you're chewing in your head and it
It's
sounds
so
like
loud.
Yeah.
If I'm like trying to watch a show, I can't. Like it's
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just like I can't chew right now.
You gotta have headphones on.
No, why is that? Why can't you hear?
also like when that's an issue that's
Yeah.
stressing you out. It's like I'm chewing too loud and I can't hear my Netflix. The food, my Ben and Jerry's is too loud in my mouth. My chubby hubby.
I don't know why that is.
That's weird.
But I always wonder because like also like when you're remember when you were a kid and you used to play like hide and seek and you'd be hiding trying to be quiet? Like I always wonder like how loud my breath actually is to like another person.
Your whole body feels like
Yeah, it's like how loud is my body like just resting naturally, you know? I don't know. It's hard to say from yourself, like from your own perspective.
You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Kim Jong Un's haircut is fresh as hell.
I think that there are people out there that would totally agree with that.
Would you get it?
I personally wouldn't because I would never cut my hair like
could
that.
see you with
But
the Kim
a
Jong-un
lot of people
haircut.
have that haircut.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Would you get it?
No. I'm
Solid
trying to
no.
think of it like on someone else who's not him. I feel like if it was like an attractive person, they could definitely pull it off.
I feel like people have that haircut.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Is
like
is it a fade or what? I haven't seen his hair.
I know. I'm
Let's
trying to like
bring
think
up
of
a
it
photo.
now.
Bring up a photo, Keith.
Yeah.
Let's judge his hair.
I mean,
I feel like it's like a Paul McCartney type of thing, like back in like
Wait.
early Beatles hair.
I
haircut.
have a game. How about you tell us how you would dress Kim Jong Un from your
from the fashion
discipline, your
Would
expertise?
they dress him?
Yeah. What outfit would you give?
Oh, of what designer? Fucking Philip Plein.
Yeah.
I feel like he would love Philip Plein.
Why?
Philip
'Cause it's
Plein
just
is
like-
the fashion equivalent of like. I forgot what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Okay, so the problem
It's
is
nice.
that it goes too far down on the sides, right?
Yeah.
It's like not.
It looks like a remember that SpongeBob karate helmet, that red helmet that he wore. That's what it looks.
specific reference.
Yeah, that one.
If he had a smaller face, I feel like it actually wouldn't be hideous. It's just
Yeah.
the fact is he's got like a fat face.
Yeah, he's got big cheeks.
Chipmunk cheeks.
Yeah,
Lots of secrets.
it's a fun one to look at, huh? Yeah, that face too.
There's something about like silly men running a country that like immediately means there's human rights violations.
Yeah, you look at that guy and you're like, fuck, how?
But yeah.
Yeah.
How? For generations, how?
Your nation is starving.
Yeah,
Like-
how? Nobody's done anything.
It's apparently very, very, because with the sanctions that the world has placed on them right now, apparently like a large percent of the population is like not getting enough food at
Which
the
is
moment.
awful. It's like
Yeah.
a rock in a hard place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
They have nuclear weapons, so no one wants to really.
Dude, when
piss
they
them off.
were sending off like nukes like a couple years ago or whatever, not
The
nukes, but they were
tests, yeah.
testing
Yeah.
That was so
missiles. I was
scary.
terrified, first of all, and for a majority of it, I was in Asia. I was
wow, yeah.
I remember I had landed I had a layover in where Malaysia, and right when I got off the phone, my phone lit up. North Korea tests a missile over Japan. I'm like, oh my god, this is it.
Japan's like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Well, first of all, yeah, that shit. Also, you remember when Hawaii had the false missile alert?
Oh yeah.
That must have been so scary.
I have a crazy story that I read in the news today about all this type of shit. They found out recently. I don't know if they found out recently, but they just reported it, that when the Chernobyl thing happened, when the plant exploded and everything, everyone thought that Russia contained it really well, right? They flew over it and everything. They blasted this they contained it. What people didn't realize is all of that fucking stuff went up into the air and everything, and now it travels with the weather. And the Russians realized it, and they blasted it with like these iodized thing, but they waited until it got out of Russia and over Belarus, and they blasted it with these like iodized gases or something that force it to release the rain that is inside of it. So there's a whole section of Belarus that like had acid rain just being dumped over it after Chernobyl happened, and the whole area is deemed like uninhabitable. There's areas of the UK from Chernobyl in the UK that have high radiation from Chernobyl.
Wow.
And it's like, so something might happen like in Manhattan, and you're like, oh, I'm way upstate in Albany, I'll be fine. Nah, probably not. You're probably gonna get hit with something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that shit travels like much more than we.
It's scary
realize.
too. That's the thing with nuclear power, right? Like we could solve a lot of our issues if we could just figure out a way not to have it melt down and explode everywhere.
Yeah.
Because nuclear power is like a very clean source of energy.
Right. If it didn't,
like human errors, the thing that always fucks it up. It's never.
Yeah, if it didn't decay, it would be fine. The problem is it decays, and once it decays, that's when all the nuclear radiation pours off of it. And if we don't have a safe place to put it, that decay goes into.
Also, like the shit that we do, just generally, it's like, oh,
dump it in the river.
Like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like we produce this thing, it explodes and makes a massive explosion. We'll probably all die.
What
but
should
we made
it?
Yeah. Okay, so here's kind of a fun one.
All right.
The friend zone isn't real. Grow up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a friend zone, but I think that there's certainly like a place where an insecure person can place you as like a fallback or like a safety net kind of thing. It's not really a friend zone. It's more for like the person to like feel secure in themselves, so that like, they have like, I don't know what you would call it, but you get what I'm saying?
Is it saying that's a fake thing that you're feeling trapped in the friend zone or putting people in the friend zone?
I don't know. Let me see.
Because it's like two different things.
Honestly, anyone who talks about being friend zoned is kind of pathetic, and I agree with that.
That I kind of.
But I do think that people sometimes keep certain people around, but usually it's not like a friend zone thing. Usually there is
that
like
person is never
romantic.
is never interested in you in the first place if they're doing shit like that. If they're like tagging you along, like.
Well, I don't know if I'm even saying. That's why I'm saying it's like a step up from a friend zone, because there might be like some sort of like romantic or sexual engagement, but not commitment, I guess is what I'm saying. And like one person might want commitment, the other doesn't.
Yeah.
And then the person that doesn't still keeps the person. You know what I'm saying?
That's never how I've interpreted the friend zone, but that's interesting.
Well, that's why I'm saying I don't think it is a friend zone. I think of it as something else, but that like I could see somebody thinking is like, oh, I'm stuck in this place if I want to be in a relationship but they don't, but then they're still talking to me. I don't understand.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Want to do one more?
Yeah,
one more good one. Let's see. Oh, this is not an unpopular opinion. I'm so on that page. I'll just say it. It's not an unpopular opinion.
Okay,
I absolutely love the smell of gasoline.
Oh no, I don't like it.
No,
some people do like it.
Yeah, I like the smell of gasoline. I've liked that shit since I was a kid.
That explains a lot, dude.
Yeah, right. I've just been inhaling gasoline.
Yeah,
grease lightning.
Explains a lot of things. One more good one.
Oh, okay. Well, here, should we end it on like a semi like relevant note?
Sure.
Okay. This reads, I don't think Joe Biden is running around sexually harassing people left and right. Some people just need to calm down.
I am on page with that one. I agree.
I don't know. It's in a weird moral gray area. There's no way for us to know at the moment what the truth is of the people coming forward. But I obviously don't think he's running around sexually harassing anyone or everyone. That's the wrong word. But I don't think that we should negate someone's coming forward. Do you remember when, God, what was her name? She did the big thing with fucking the judge and her.
Brett Kavanaugh and it's funny that
I can't. Oh, I feel
It's
so
kind of awful that we don't remember her name.
there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
The one of the people, when she was being like questioned, was like, why come forward now? She's like, when you see someone about to be put in this position of power, fuck it, I'm gonna come forward and say what happened to me, because he shouldn't be there.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Joe Biden's such a weird one, but again,
Well,
we gotta figure out the truth.
Joe Biden's a weird one for me because I do genuinely, listen, he totally invades personal space.
Yes,
you
he
can see
does.
that on occasion.
He does.
At the same time, I do genuinely think that's just his character.
I think he invades personal space based on how we view personal space today. If you looked at it back when he was probably like our age, it's not even remotely deemed invasive, you know? And I think that he's an old dude. He's like 70, 80 something or whatever.
Yeah.
You think about like your grandpa and like the way your grandpa they just do things differently. They operate differently.
Yeah.
And I think yes, he does invade personal space too much. But I think that I don't think there's malintent.
Right.
I don't see any of
But
that
then at the
on
same
him.
time, it's like,
the intent doesn't matter as much as how the person feels.
right, like
about the
people can
thing.
feel uncomfortable regardless of intent.
Right.
And it's like speaking like, why should someone like that, then who's clearly out of touch with the current climate, run the country?
Yeah.
Which is the current climate.
And that's a
Yeah.
fair point.
I'm
Yeah.
all for like Pete Buttigieg. I like him. I think he sounds great.
Have you
That's-
heard of Andrew Yang?
No.
Have you hopped on the Yang gang yet?
No.
You gotta check him out.
You gotta
It's
check
great.
out Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
What's his like policy? Because like
His like main platform is universal basic income.
Yeah.
Okay, that's sexy.
Yeah.
When I did an internship in Ireland for 6 months.
Yeah.
And while I was there, I got like inadvertently really heavily involved with the Irish People's Party, which is their communist party.
Oh, yeah.
I was having sex with a guy who was like the vice president, and
Yeah.
I learned a lot about communism. I remember like coming back to America, and I was like, so I love seeing like new socialists coming around, like,
Yeah.
which is like the gateway into it.
I think you should check Andrew Yang out. He's very much like, he's pragmatic, right? So he's like, a lot of his policies are just based in like statistics,
Yes.
but like
he
in
calls
a way,
himself the math party.
yeah.
And that's like what he says. Like, I'm the math party.
But really, what the stats show is that yes, socialist policies should be implemented, and they would work.
They can work if they're
Yeah.
done right. And there's
I mean,
not
he's
a lot of
talking
red tape
about like
around them.
UBI, like obviously universal healthcare for everybody, but the big thing with the UBI is that he's very concerned about automation and people losing their jobs, which is going to happen.
Oh, completely. I mean, look at McDonald's.
Right.
Yeah.
As a consumer, I prefer touching the giant iPad than talking to someone in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
We prefer it. We
I mean,
appreciate it.
I was just saying to somebody today, like how are malls even still a thing?
They're
Right.
not. Who goes to a mall?
He-
No,
That's
people
part
go
of
to
his-
malls.
that's
in
part
the
of his
suburbs.
policy.
People go to malls.
Have you read his policy? That's part of his policy. He goes, we need to figure out what the hell we're gonna do with malls
Right.
because they're all gonna go.
I work in fashion, and they don't sell. Malls don't work anymore.
Yeah.
In our industry, it's all in the internet, which is like
Yeah,
everything
right,
else. But like
right.
literally, the brands who work at malls are like trying to scramble their shit together.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
One brand who I'll fucking name drop because I don't like them.
Yeah.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah.
I once went through. We were circle jerking each other because I thought I was going to go there. They were going to pay me. I was like, whatever, fuck it, I'll lower my standards to do them. But then they
Yeah.
don't want me. They don't know what they're doing. They've rebranded like 2 times in the past year, completely changed all the stores
Yeah.
because no one's coming in.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they were so ingrained.
And
in
they have
mall
so
culture.
many stores
So
too.
you think about going to the mall. It's like Hollister, A&F.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all those
They're dead.
old like mid 2000 brands.
No, but it is weird because I will go because I only live like an hour and a half north, and I'll go there, every couple months, hang out. I'll go to the mall, catch a movie or something, and there are still a lot of people there. But I'm like,
For
are you
movies?
you real people?
No, but you know
Like-
you know who it is. You know who it is because my grandparents do this, and I love my
Older
grandparents
people?
to death, and I love that they do this. But that's where they go for like walks in the winter. Like instead of going outside, they literally
Aw,
walk
that's
around the
kinda
mall.
cute.
Really cute.
Yeah, but
that
that's
should
what
be
they,
the policy. Then we're gonna turn it into
Turn
like
it
a
into
senior
a-
citizen like activity
a
place.
senior activity
Yeah.
center.
It's wonderful. Community center. Yeah.
Yeah,
would be
I think we
fantastic.
just solved the issue.
Obesity. Like there's
Yeah.
so many things that could help with.
All right, well that's where it's starting then.
That's
right
a
here,
great
right now.
idea.
We're turning all the malls into community centers for the elderly.
Andrew Yang, you
Boom.
better be listening.
Yeah.
New policy.
All right, well, this was fun.
Yeah.
I had a great
Thanks for
time.
having
Yeah,
me.
this
Do you
was a
want
lot
to
of
pitch
fun.
anything at the end, or where people can find your? I don't know if you
Yeah,
post your
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I have my Instagram. It's kink shame Heathcliff. Kink as in like sexual kink, shame as in you should be ashamed of that. And then Heathcliff, the titular character of Wuthering Heights.
Nice.
All right, awesome. We'll
Yeah.
put it in this description. Everybody will be able to link to it.
Yep.
And yeah, cool. This was fun.
This is a lot
Great
of fun.
conversation. Thanks for coming on. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Woo.
See you later.
Sweet.
Bam. You want to hit
That was great.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
it's fun.
That was fun. I love just like talking about this shit.
Yeah, it is fun.
Those unpopular opinions are a blast.
There's some. I saw one the other day that was on the homepage, but I didn't want to bring it up because it was one that had like a lot of debate. Like it was a